Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of November 5th through 11th. Today is Saturday, November 11th. So, this week was alright. It was alright. It's still, the temperatures have gone back up, so we were in the mid 80s this week, and so I'm really kind of not feeling too festive at the moment. It's about 80 degrees right now that I'm filming, and yeah, it gets nice and cool in the evening, but during the day it's still a bit warm. I do still need a fan to be blowing while I am filming over here, especially with the lights and everything. But yeah, this week was okay. But I will fill you in on how my life has been going at the end of the video, as always. So first up, we'll talk about what I finished this week, because I did finish two things, what I'm currently reading, and then I have a knitting update to share with you. Not the mostly ghostly, but something else. And then we will go ahead and get that life catch up in at the end. So let's talk about the two books that I finished this week. So I did finish Solo Leveling Volume 4 by Chugong. So this is the light novel edition. I did listen to it entirely on audiobook. I read the last maybe 2 pages, I think, physically. So we'll just say that I listened to it entirely on audiobook. This is a story about a guy who lives in this world where there are these dungeons that pop up, and inside the dungeon there are lots of monsters. And all the dungeons are rated a different level based on the strength of the monsters inside. And we are following a guy named Jinwoo Sung, and he is a very, very low level demon hunter. All of the people that are demon hunters have different abilities, and they're tested for these abilities and given a level, and Jinwoo Sung is basically the lowest of the low, and he ends up getting a mission where he goes into a dungeon and they clear it out, but it happens to be a very rare double dungeon, and the second dungeon inside is much higher level than the rest of the team that is there can deal with. But they have to do it because they left this dungeon for so long. They basically get obliterated, but right before Jinwoo Sung dies, he sees this game box pop up in front of his face, and it says, "Would you like to become a player?" And so with nothing left to lose, he goes ahead and agrees. And it starts him on this journey of change. And he starts leveling up his abilities by playing this video game in his head. He gets daily missions, and he can only see these missions and game boxes himself. No one else can see them. So he's basically solo leveling himself up. So this follows him doing that, what he does to do that, how getting his level increased is causing a little bit of commotion, because no one has ever increased their level in the amount of time that Jinwoo Sung has done so. And if they do so, they don't do it gradually like he's been doing it. They have these things called awakenings. So it's basically something that happens to somebody that makes them stronger, but that's not what's happening to him. So he's kind of this phenomenon. And in this particular installment, there is something going on where they need a high level team to go and clear out this really high level dungeon, and it's a joint project between Korea and Japan, and so there's a lot of political things going on there. And it was very interesting to read about. It's very interesting to see how Jinwoo is continuing to increase his abilities. I will say that while I still am enjoying the series, and I really, really enjoy the narration by Ki Hong Lee, who is Minho in the Maze Runner movies, I did not enjoy Jinwoo in this volume as much. He seems to be getting a little bit of a big head with what kind of conspires now that he is so strong. Even the way he's talking about himself and the things that he is going about doing in real life, it just seems a little bit conceited, and I am not enjoying that from him. Up until this point, I enjoyed watching him grow and get stronger and do all these missions, kind of see how he talks through what he's using, points and things that he finds in which areas to increase his abilities. But this one had a lot more like big-headedness to it. There's even a point in this story where he's like kind of like checking himself out and is all like, am I that handsome? And I'm just like, really, dude? Really? So yeah, I'm not enjoying that part, but I am still enjoying watching him grow. The political thing that happens in here was very interesting. I don't know if you know, but there will be an anime adaptation that comes out in January. There is a trailer or two out at the moment. The thing is, though, it's being done, I believe, by a Japanese company. And if you know anything about the history between Japan and Korea, it's not good. It's not good. And with what happens in this volume, I'll be very interested to see how that will be done by the animation team when they get to it, if they get to it, because what happens here does not paint Japan in a good light. Let me just say that. But yes, very interested to see how the anime will be, especially considering this is, translated from Korean. But I am really, really enjoying this still. Probably less than the first three, just because of the, conceitedness and the big-headed nature of his thoughts in this one. But I am looking forward to seeing where this goes from here. And I ended up giving this one 4 stars. So then I also finished The Haunted Bookstore, which I talked to you about last week. So this is The Haunted Bookstore Volume 1, Gateway to a Parallel Universe by Shinobumaru. This one is published by 7 Seas, rated teen. I don't know if I told you this one was by Chugong, published by Yen On, rated 16 and up, so that's older teen. But this one is... So this is a story about a girl who kind of landed in the spirit realm when she was very, very small. And we don't know how she got there, why she got there or anything, but she was very small and she was taken in by a man and raised in the spirit realm. But she's human. She's human. And so she's, friends with all of the spirits, and her father and her adopted father and her run this bookstore. It's the only bookstore in the spirit realm, and so they've got a lot of customers. A lot of the customers like to read, but a lot of them can't afford to buy, and so they end up lending or bartering a lot of their books. And this is basically, I would say, a few different short stories within this volume, set with the same characters in the same world, but shortly after we get introduced to Kaori, I think her name is, and her dad and what they do and what she does for a living and things like that, we meet a teenager who ends up dropping into the spirit realm, and he's gravely injured, and Kaori and her dad end up taking him in and nursing him back to health. But he ends up being an exorcist, and he's there in the spirit realm to find somebody. And so he's kind of got a grudge against a lot of the spirits there due to the nature of his occupation. And so him living in the house with Kaori, who's human, who he has no grudge against, but her father, who is a spirit, and learning how to overcome those grudges and things like that is kind of what this first volume entails. And I do say they're short stories because it is still linear in the way it's being told, but you definitely jump. Each chapter is a different thing that happens. So you have a chapter where Kaori is on a job where she's helping another spirit get a book to his friend. And then there's another chapter where Kaori is taking a book to a longtime customer. And then there's a chapter where we learn more about the exorcist. And then there's a chapter that is about Kaori meeting up with some spirits that she had met when she was a kid, and kind of things like that. I mean, it's still like in a linear timeline, but they're different stories in each chapter, still following the same characters, but they're doing different things. And so, yeah, I had a really hard time getting into this. It was a little bit boring. It was a little bit slow to begin with. I wouldn't say that I really got into it until maybe the last 2 chapters or 3. I think it was 3 chapters when we finally found out what the exorcist was in the spirit realm for. There's a little bit of a question as to how Kaori got to the spirit realm also, and we got a little glimpse of that, but I know there's more background to that story, and so I'm really looking forward to more of that. But after finally finishing this, I definitely feel better about continuing with the series and have interest in doing so, because it definitely picked up in the last couple of chapters. I do have questions now about how Kaori got there, and things like that. Other questions about what's going on with the exorcist and a few of the other characters that we see regularly throughout this world, like Cody's dad and the other woman that helped raise her. She's got 2 friends that have been with her for the entirety of her existence in the spirit realm. And so, yeah, I definitely feel much better about the series now that I have finally read through the entirety of this volume, and I'm looking forward to continuing. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars as well. So that meant that I had to start 2 more things, 1 physical and 1 audio. So I did go ahead and continue with Solo Leveling, Volume 5, again by Chugong. I am listening to this one on audio. Still really interested in what's going on here. Something really interesting and kind of terrifying happens at the end of the 4th volume. And so the world is kind of turned upside down in this volume, and it's still really interesting. Lots of action going on straight into this 1st volume, and I am really, really enjoying it. So this is my audiobook for the week. And then physically, I decided to go ahead and read My Happy Marriage, Volume 5 by Akumi Agitogi. Again, in the light novel version published by Yan-On. This one's rated ages 13 and up, so that's teen. So this story starts out as a Cinderella retelling with a supernatural twist. And now we are much further away from that. There are definitely political things happening in this volume. This is a really slow burn romance. The romance between these 2 is very wholesome and very cute. There's a little bit of a communication issue just because of how they both are, how they both have been throughout the years, and they're slowly getting over that. I am currently in the middle of a chapter. Again, not like me at all to stop in the middle of a chapter, but that's just kind of how things have been rolling for me lately. What chapter is this? Chapter 2. I am in the middle of chapter 2, page 56. Things are starting to heat up in the political issue area here. Something happened in volume 4 that's kind of carrying over to this one, and things are much more dangerous in this volume. So this one at this point is just okay for me. It doesn't have the same, like, I don't know, fluffy feeling that the other ones had, and I think it's because of what's going on right now in the world of this story. Things are pretty serious. There's not a lot of time for Mio and Kyoka to have together. It does start off in a pretty sweet scene, but things are definitely more serious where I am at the moment. But it still reads really fast. I'm still really interested in what's going on. And so, yeah, just getting through this one. I'm hoping that nothing too serious happens in this one, though, because this one definitely feels a little bit darker. The tones are more tampered down. Just like I said, with things that are going on with Kyoka's job and politically and all of that stuff. It's not as bright and fluffy. We don't get as many scenes with the 2 of them having those, sweet moments together. But still very interesting stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to continuing with that one. So that's everything I read, and that's everything that I am currently reading. I think my next audiobook, though, after Solo Leveling, is going to depart from the light novels, just because there's not that many light novels that I am interested in that have audiobooks. Plus, I just got 2 audiobooks from the library, so I kind of want to listen to them. I've been on wait lists for those for about a month, and so I just got them both released to me within a few days of each other, and so I really would like to get to those before they're returned back to the library. So after Solo Leveling, I'm probably going to listen to those before I get back to probably more Solo Leveling, if I'm honest. But yeah, so far, light novel November, off to a good start. As far as my knitting update, I did finish my hat. So this is the spiral Squarecase hat from Catherine Odell, I think her name was. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And you can see that the crown of the hat is like a square. And so I did finish this blue and black, or kind of charcoal gray stripes with the tweed yarn. This is Knitpicks City Tweed DK, and so it is wool and alpaca and Donegal tweed. These were leftovers from my mom's Dobbin wood that I did. Really, really nice yarn. It really feels great, and I'm loving how that turned out. So the pattern was really easy to follow. I did do helical stripes, which is kind of new for me, doing them with the decreases, but it worked out pretty well. Much easier for me this time than when I was trying to do them with my split back V-back tee, I think, or something like that, which is the one that I'm kind of hung up on because I don't know how to do the decreases on that shirt. It's to the point now where I'm like, maybe I should just pull it out and start over and not do the helical. Just run the seam up the side. I'm seriously thinking about doing that, but at the moment I have a couple projects that I really want to work on, and so I'm not going to do that just yet. But this is the hat that I finished. This is the medium size, adult medium, and so yes, very happy with that. My mom's boss ended up starting his chemo early, so our plan was to drop this off to him before he started his chemo, but he ended up having chemo this week, and so we will be mailing this to him later. So that is my first finished knitting object in a while. But I finished something. Yay! I did go ahead and start the ribbing on my Mostly Ghostly, but there's not much there to show you. So I'll hopefully have the ribbing done and have started on the sleeve by the time I talk to you next week. So that brings us to the life catch-up section of this diary entry. So if you're not interested in that, I will talk to you next week. But life kind of catch-up. So I was made to sign up for the company health plan this week, even though it won't start till January. Our open enrollment season ended this week. And so I had to do that, and so now I am waiting to see if the company will reimburse me fully for my health insurance premium. So that's still giving me a little bit of stress. Things are kind of still up in the air with my mom. She has another doctor's appointment this week, and so we'll hopefully know more then and have like a better direction as to where life is going to go from this point. And so there's that. My daughter had her birthday on Sunday the 5th. It was a milestone birthday, and she was able to talk to my brother, and so she really enjoyed that. My mom was also able to talk to my brother, which is the first time she's been able to talk to him since the whole hospital incident. I was in touch with him regularly via text, but he is somewhere currently for work. And so, yeah, I was texting with him regularly while my mom was in the hospital. And so she was able to talk to him on my daughter's birthday as well. So that was great. Hopefully we'll be able to see him this month. That's still kind of up in the air, but I'm really hoping that I will be able to see him because I haven't seen him since last year. And so, yeah, that would be really, really nice, especially with everything that happened this year. So, yeah, I've got a Dad of the Year award contestant for you. So if you've watched me for a while, you know that my father and I have a rocky relationship. And have had a rocky relationship for almost the entirety of my life. There was a point where I stopped talking to him for my well-being because he wasn't good for me. His outlooks on the things that I wanted to do with my life was not good for me. And so I stepped away, and I only reconnected with him because my daughter was born and she had no adult male relatives. I wanted to her to have an adult male role model, kind of someone there. Because my brother was around, but he was 16 when she was born, and so. Not quite an adult, but he's probably the better role model as far as adult males in her life. I will definitely say that, and I'm very proud of him. But yeah, my father is not great. Let's just say that my father is not great. So every once in a while, I have these little tales to tell you about him. And so my daughter, had a birthday this week, and it was a milestone birthday, so a bigger birthday, and he did not call. He texted, and I got really ticked off with him because of all the years you could at least call on a milestone birthday, but he didn't, and I got mad. I got really mad. It's just compounding with the whole thing that happened with my mom while she was in the hospital. My brother did end up telling my dad about what was going on. I didn't because I felt like he's not really part of, what's going on. He's not in our lives, at least my mom's life, so he doesn't need to know, but my brother thought that he needed to know, so my brother filled him in. And he acted the way that I thought he would. He never once called me to check up to see on how I was doing. He didn't call to see if I needed anything, if I needed any support, how I was doing. I haven't heard from him at all. And so that compounded with the fact that he didn't even call my daughter on a milestone birthday, his first grandchild, ticked me off. So my father and I are not having a great point in our life. Truthfully, I don't think he knows that because I haven't told him. And to me, it's kind of like, what's the point? What's the point? Because he's not going to listen. He's not going to listen. At this point, he's not going to change. And so there are just times where I need to vent about it. And this is one of those times. So yeah, other than that, the daughter had a great birthday. Again, it was a milestone birthday, and I can't believe she hit that age. Like every parent, you look at your child and you're like, how did all of those years pass by? And that's kind of where I'm at with her. Every year. But she had a great birthday otherwise. She could care less if her grandfather called or not. She would prefer that he didn't. I get that, but at the same time, it makes me really mad that he didn't. And so I'm just trying to kind of, move on. And with everything else that's going on with my job and, the health insurance thing, my mom being in the hospital, I don't need that extra stuff, but as such is my life this year, I guess. I will be on vacation after this next week, though. So this week that you're watching this video is my last week of work until December. I always take vacation the last 2 weeks of November because work is so stressful and heavy the last month of the year for me. So I'm really, really looking forward to that time off. Like I said, especially with everything that has happened recently. And the fact that this year it's going to be much more stressful in the office. I say in the office, but I work from home as far as my workload goes for the end of the year, because my coworker's having her knee replaced and she may not be back to work until next year. So yeah, that's going to be a lot, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle it, but I'm going to have to. And so it's just a lot of things. I just need to get through this week, be on vacation, de-stress, relax, and then work hard until the end of the year. And then hope that 2024 is better than 2023 was. Because, yeah, this last part of the year was just not it. It was not it. But, yeah. I think that's pretty much everything. That pretty much wraps up my week. There's not really much happy stuff to talk about. I'm still trying to figure out how to condense, I guess, my filming. Maybe be able to film less, but I'm not sure of how to do that yet. So I'm still considering. I know my content for December is usually a bit different anyway, and so don't think that I'll be able to really switch it up until January, but I'm still thinking about it and things like that. So if you have, again, any comments as to which videos you watch from me the least, as far as the bookish video goes, because the wax video is going to stay. That my weekly wax wrap up is the one that I'm definitely going to keep, and the diary entries. Those are the two videos that I know for sure that I want to do every week. It's the other stuff. And so, today I filmed 3 videos already. Some weekends I film 5 videos and I put them all up in the week after. And it's a lot. It's a lot, especially for something that I'm not getting paid for. But I enjoy it. But at the same time, it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time. And with everything that happened within the last month, I feel like I need to kind of enjoy life more. I need to not be working on a computer. I need to be present with the people in my life more. And so, yeah, definitely going to need to switch some things up. So, yeah. Just lots of thinking. This week was meh. Had a little bit of an anger issue with my father, and lots of things still up in the air, but I got through it. We're still kicking here, and just gotta hope that this week goes by fast and efficiently, and I can get a lot of stuff done before I go on vacation, and then I am home free until December. So that's definitely something to look forward to. So I think I'll wrap it up here. Let me know down in the comments below how your week went. Hopefully it was much better than mine. When do you start your Christmas shopping? I would love to know that. I've already done my Christmas shopping for my dad and his wife, and so I need to send that out soon. And other than that, like I said, I might see my brother, so we might not have to do any Christmas shopping for him. And that's pretty much all the Christmas shopping we do. So yeah, I pretty much got Christmas shopping done, I think, for the most part anyway. But let me know when you start your Christmas shopping. Have you already gotten all your shopping done, or do you wait for the Black Friday sales? What do you do? I would love to know. And if nothing else, you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me some type of fall emoji or an orange or yellow emoji down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out, and that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and seemingly always. Bye.